Hey guys, welcome back inside the stash. Yes, it is once again time to see the things that have arrived at the stash. This is going to be just a few odds and ends actually that were in transit in the last video that we couldn't put in because, well, they weren't here yet. And then a recent sort of rash of ill-conceived purchases on Buyee. Not that I don't want any of these things, but hey, let's be honest, do I need any of them? No, but hey, when has that ever stopped a real hobbyist, right? So we're gonna flip the camera around, and we'll take a look at that stuff, and yeah, we'll be right back. Alrighty, so first up, a few detail pieces, because what would a video of these be without some decals and some photo etch? I picked this stuff up from, trying to think where I got this stuff from now. Ha! Yes, that's where you know you have too much stuff coming in. You don't know where it came from. This stuff came from Media Mix, which is in Singapore, and it is some carbon fiber and some photo etch for some Fords that I missed out on in terms of getting them from Hobbylink Japan because there's some weirdness with Studio 27 and Hobbylink Japan again, or as usual, and then yeah. So it's parts of this for the streetcar, parts of this for the road car. This carbon fiber right here is for the Tamiya streetcar. It is, as you can see, two sheets, pretty comprehensive, and especially when we start talking about all these little things up here. For the most part, this is all interior, although this is the front lip spoiler, but these are the seat inserts, and you can see there you go. They're a different like style pattern than the rest of the carbon fiber in here. And on the back here, you get the instructions. You can see you're doing some carbon fibering on the inside, but a good deal of the decals involved here are making up the rear splitter area, making up the rear hatch area, and then making up the inserts that go on top of the, I guess technically this would be the intake, right? Yeah, it looks like it to me. So there's some dashboard decals, some seat decals. It's not, I mean, there's a lot of decals. It's probably about 150 decals on this sheet if you count all the left and rights, because the decals on the sheet go up to like 71, and then, excuse me, 73. And then a lot of them, like all of these up here, the 1 through 9. Well, there's a 1 through 9 on one side, 1 through 9 on the other side. So, when you count these 9 plus the 9 on the other side, it's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's 22 pieces that make up the rear hatch. If you look here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decals on this side. So there's obviously a matching 9 over here. So 18 on the intake. And then, yeah, you got the 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 on the splitter, and then all of these are right left as well. So you're looking at about 30 some odd decals for the splitter. So yay, decal fun. But you guys know I love my decals, so that's no big deal. And the other thing I got in, another Studio 27 product, I have 2 of these because I have 2 of the GTLM kits at this point, is the photo etch set for the race car. Now this is not the street car. The street car photo etch is made by Hobby Design right now. This is for the race car. As you can see, there's winglets and whatnot. We'll see how much of this I end up actually using. I plan to certainly use the grills, intakes, and things like that. Also, probably the brake faces and the hub faces. The rest of it, we'll see what's there. I do like the fact that we do get a set of photo etch winglets on the front of here. I've watched a few people recently trying to build out the 24 Hours of Daytona cars, and they're having issues with trying to get the wraps to go around the front bumper, which already has these winglets molded on in the kit. Now you have the option, of course, to cut them off, fill in the area, apply your decals, and then put your photo etch on over top. So there's that. And this will give you a very tiny list of maybe. I got too much background going on there. Come on. Maybe. Yes, there we go. A tiny little thing of the fact that these do actually come with like English. Now there's not a set of instructions in here per se, but at least tells you what it is that you're doing. Got some seatbelt material back here, so that, I guess, guys, is pretty much that. I think actually if you open, I'm looking at this, you open this piece up here, there's some instructions inside about like how to assemble the seatbelts and things like that. So there is that. One kit we had that was coming that we knew was going to cost a small fortune by the time I got here, because you may recall the story about the Hobby Search order that was combined to ship in July that didn't, because half of it didn't show up. And half of it didn't show up as this modeler's Suzuki Swift 2017 Sports. This is a modeler's resin kit. So, like most of these kits we've shown you over the years, this is, all nicely packaged inside its little container here. I have fit the wheels. The wheels do fit to these tires, which are actually black in here again. I probably will build this pretty soon. I know I say that a lot, but considering how much I paid for this and how little of it there really is, not that I'm saying that's a bad deal or that I feel like I got screwed over or anything, but there's just, there's just not that much to these. I feel like I've sort of have a requirement to build this considering how much it cost me by the time it was all said and done with, because it was basically at least a good third over what it should have been by the time you factor in the fact that this shipped by itself and plus buying it from Hobby Search made it more expensive than it needed to be in the first place. But it's a cool little compact car. They export these a lot of places. Of course, we don't get them here in the United States anymore because, of course, Suzuki doesn't have a dealership presence in the United States anymore. Whoops. So that is a right-hand drive car, obviously. Another thing we picked up, this was a grab because I knew these were going to be kind of hard to come by, from Spot Model, who, again, just has the best boxes ever. These guys really deserve the credit of having, like, they have their own shipping boxes. I don't know too many vendors who have their own shipping boxes. But what they're doing right now is offering a limited reissue, and I'm not sure what the whole deal with this is as far as, like, how and why and what, of the... Oops, my decals are in here upside down. Let's get a show to you. Of the Texaco Discovery Channel sponsored Porsche 911 Evo, which, for you folks might not know what that looks like, is this. This was a Revell kit that was released back in 1999, and then a couple of times after that. I think there's 4 of these altogether. A couple more are the Evo Le Mans from 1998, and then there's a couple of them that ran in IMSA in the United States. This is the 24 Hours of Daytona version from 2001. I didn't actually look to see where this kit finished, but a lot of people were like, oh, it's just a, they just went and found some new old stock. These decals are brand new. There's no way in the world this decal sheet would be in the shape that it's in, with white being as bright as it is, in 2019 if they were printed in 2002. The only sort of downside to these kits, the fact there's no box, obviously. This is how it comes in this great big, like, 1.5 gallon freezer bag. It's molded in gray, so these are not the actual, like, kits that were released back in 2001, because there's I think all of them at this point, because I know this one was molded in white, and I'm pretty sure all the rest of them were. All of them were molded in white. This is obviously not white. The downside to these kits is, and this is a problem they had back in the original came out, these things are warped like crazy. When you get these, you usually have 2 problems that you have to look out for. Either the chassis plate itself, this part down here with the fins on it, that's usually twisted, or it looks like somebody sat on your car. And then in this case, that's what I have here, with these side pieces splayed way the hell out of proportion. If you, let me just pull it out and show you. The sides of this car are supposed to be even with this end plate. So if I put this end plate back up here and more or less, pull it out. What the hell am I doing? If I put the top of this up here so that the I gotta do this off camera because I can't do it in reverse looking at the camera. If I put this the lip spoiler where it's supposed to be in terms of assembling, although that in its own right is a difficulty because the front of this thing is also splayed out, apparently. But if I put that where it's supposed to be, you can see how far away from the sides this body is. This body, when it's assembled, has to tuck up, and the sides are supposed to attach. That's why, like, if you look here, there's like a little divot that fits in here and a little divot that fits in there. So if you take those divots and put them where they're supposed to be, you see how much I have to squeeze. Oops, I guess you can't. You see how much I have to squeeze the body in to get it to attach to where it's supposed to be. So if I let go of it, it's way the hell out there. So, I mean, it'd be one of those things where normally, I guess I would, call out a firing squad and threaten to disband Spot Model on right where they're standing for producing such crap, but all they did was ask Revell to rerun the kit, and that's what you got, because a good substantial majority of these kits, as they came out of the mold in 1999 through 2002, looked exactly like that. So nothing changed there. If you're hoping to get a clean one, good luck. You're not going to get one. So let's take a look at the Buyee purchases here real quick. First up is this, which is a little bit too big for the camera angle. There, let's fix that. Thank you. Is the most recent version of the Liberty Walk Liberty Works R35 GTR. This is the Advan liveried, if you will, the one that has the red back end to it. Now you say, like, why did you buy a brand new kit off Buyee? Well, or Yahoo Japan Auctions, however you want to look at it. Well, they, much like eBay, there are, brick and mortar hobby shops on Japanese Yahoo. So I purchased it this way because it's out of stock in all of the Japanese retailers. It's out of stock in Hong Kong. So getting it required me to basically buy from the stock of a Japanese hobby shop. So, I mean, cool, I guess. And get some shots of the built model on the side here. And that completes, at this point, my Liberty Walk GTR collection, I hope. I don't think we're getting any more of these, please. Enough. Find something else to Liberty Walk, if you would. If there's several options in the tooling catalog, please amuse me this fall and Liberty Walk a Lamborghini or something. Now, Frankie over at SK Decals has got a jag of deciding he wants to make a whole bunch of decals for these. Other things other than the factory Liberty Walk livery. I've seen the previews of several of them. They're really cool, and I really don't want to buy more of these. And see, this is where like I get torn, because it's like I want to build my Liberty Walk kits as they come, although I can sort of take or leave this one, just because I like the factory, subtle Liberty Walk, the whole imagine all the people living in the world in peace. Little logos around the side of the car and stuff like that. Because Lord knows that's a motto for the times, is it not? But I don't really. What I think I need to do is build one of these first and decide whether or not I actually even like these kits, or whether or not they're just something that I have that's like, oh, look at all these models I have. Does this before I go out and buy like another 5 of them to do alternative livery schemes? But anyway, that's in. A kit I've been looking for a long time at a reasonably decent price. Finally found one, and that is the Aoshima Land Rover Range Rover. This is, I think, the second release of this. There were four or five of them all together with different parts and roof racks and bull guards and all sorts of other stuff that were added to them over time. This is a 1992 release, I believe. Yes. Well, there's no copyright on the side of the box. What doth the instructions say here? The instructions are going to say 12 of 1993. All right, so this is substantially older than I thought it was. So, at any rate, Revell released this as well in one of their boxings. I believe it's Aoshima's tooling, because it's just tooled up like their stuff is, rather than Revell Germany's stuff is. This was when they were on a little bender of doing various European cars. This is the same era of the recently reissued MGs as well. Now, there were some things that Aoshima reboxed that were Revell kits, like this Mercedes station wagon that everybody drools all over. That's just a craptastic kit inside the box that looks almost nothing like the real car, in the sense that it is a Mercedes-Benz and a station wagon, but that's about it. But I think this is an Aoshima tooling as far as the origins, or it may be a Revell tooling. The only thing I say with the Revell tooling it's not is because Revell, I believe, only released this kit once, well after 1993, and there are 5 versions of the Aoshima kit, so that makes me think that Aoshima has the actual steel. So anyway, I bought this mainly because it is the pooling vehicle I've always wanted for that Brian James A4 transport trailer that they released a few years back, and I've been begging them. I think everybody's been begging them at this point to reissue this, although the licensing is probably more of the issue than anything. But I'm sure that now that I purchased one, we'll see it. I have no word. Don't get all excited, but I have no doubt that now that I've paid more than this kit was worth by about twice as far as the original price, I'm sure it'll come back out now. Next up, and these are all race cars from here on out, I know you're shocked, is this. It is the Fujimi Take One Motorsports 1993 JTCC BMW M3. Now, you're like, oh my, all you ever do is complain about these M3s and how awful they are. Oh, believe me, it's terrible. I knew exactly how bad this was when I bought it. What I have bought this kit for, however, and paid a whole whopping $13 for, is the decals that are in here. I am going to be taking them out, scanning them into the system, and redrawing them to fit the recently released BMAX M3 Evo Sport 2. This is Evo Sport 2. You can see it's got the extra little ducktail spoiler there in the back. This is not a very complicated design, especially if I don't go and make this whole black quarter panel area back here. As the decals come, you get this black area on the hood with all this printing on it, and you get the side stripes up to the belt line here. This part here, in the kit, you have to paint, and then they give you decals for the trunk lid, the top of the deck lid, and the edge of the trunk lid. I don't know if there's a back shot of that car. Very, very tiny one. Hopefully it'll focus here. Or not. Whatever. You know, no biggie. We're not doing a one-take video here or anything. You could just generally get the gist of the fact that the deck lid is black, and only the deck lid. These swoops come up here. It's black over the trunk, and then the back-facing edge of the deck lid is also black above the taillights, if that makes sense. So there's decals in here for the top and the edge. You have to paint the spoiler black. But they didn't actually include this part right here up the side of the car. Now, if I decide not to redraw that in here, then it would be a heck of a lot easier. You get a whole sort of gist of what the car looks like there. But there's actually two cars here, a 62 and a 61. They ran two cars in 1993. These are recycled 1992 DTM cars. And yeah, pop this open here. Actually, no. Now that I look at it, they actually did include the side decals. Ha! All right, I'm a big fat liar. But at any rate, here's what the decals look like out of the package. We're going to, like I said, redraw them to fit the kit, because I'm telling you right now, the trunk area on a BMX M3, I don't think is that wide. And I think this is too narrow for the hood, or maybe too wide. But there's a whole bunch of proportion issues with this kit. We've talked about in the past. It's all sorts of weird looking as far as the proportions go. It's too wide, it's too low, the roof's too square. A whole bunch of problems, and the fact that it's just really, really a terribly basic kit. I mean, here's the chassis, and that's the same chassis that's in the Mercedes-Benz four-door DTM car, as well as the follow-up DTM car after that. Both have this same chassis, so one of these cars is not longer than the other. I mean, a four-door car, you would think, is a little bit longer than a two-door car. And then you have the awesome rectangular Kidney Girls. And the fact that this isn't really a race car, it's got like street car interior to it, and center console, and the roll cage in here, if you want to even call it that, let's pull that back out, is this back here. It's a rear hoop. It goes behind the driver's seat, and then it has dog legs that go to the back of the trunk. So that's all of the roll cages that are in these. And that's the same thing with all of them, by the way. Every single one of these M3s, the 190 Mercedes, and then the 2000 era, not 2000 era, but the 1995 era four-door Mercedes. They all have the same chassis, so they're all the same width and the same length, and ugh. So, anyway, stole it for the decals. Look for those to come sometime this fall. Next up, we have the Toyota Toms 84C. This is the last of the full detail Tamiya, rather, Group C cars that I decided I needed somewhere along the lines after saying I don't build Group C cars. What happened? I don't know. But at any rate, this is the 2008 reissue with the Cartograph decals. Everything looks good in here. This makes almost a test car for Toyota. They ran it that season, had absolutely no success with it whatsoever, and just sort of wrote it off to development more than it being a real race season. But that's here. The other Group C car, and this is something I have wanted for a while, is the Sauber C9 in the 1988 livery. I think this is the WEC livery rather than the Le Mans livery. And trying to find one of these, because there's been two releases of this, I think. Or there may only be the one. But this has Cartograph decals. This is a 2008 release. I'd have to go look. I think possibly this was only released once, but it comes with photo etch. And trying to find one of these, even though it's only like 11 years old at this point, with decals that are not completely and totally shot to crap. All of these circuit board things are white and silver, and so of course the first thing the decals do is yellow the hell out, and you can't really do anything with it. It is a full detail kit. It's like the other Sabre C9, the Silver Arrow one that won Le Mans in what, 1987 or 1988. Can't quite read it from here. But anyway, I've been wanting the other one. I actually bought when Studio 27 did the carbon fiber for these. I actually bought 2 sets of carbon fiber because I wanted to get this one. And now, finally, again, paying too much for it in reality, I have that. And then last, but certainly not least, this was just too good a deal to pass up. I only paid like $12 for it, is the 2001 season Peugeot 206 rally car. So decals in here look great. That's, this was released back in 2001, so it's, kind of a hit or miss as to what your decals look like on these, with all these totals and all this stuff being in white. But the decals in here actually look really nice, and so I don't know. I've just accepted the fact that I collect rally cars now, so it is what it is. But again, as much as I do the whole, oh, you guys buy kits just because they're cheap. Okay, I have an interest in rally cars at least. But yeah, this was just really cheap, and I saw it when I was buying something else, and I was like, I'll throw in a opening bid and see what happens. Well, what happens is it wound up in Pennsylvania from Japan. So anyway, guys, that wraps up this video. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.